Representative Pam Altendorf, welcome to my van and my garage. I just made it home. It's 12:54 a.m. So another busy Omnibus Bill day, and hey, I'm just excited I got home before 1 a.m. Yesterday, I think it was 1:15, closer to 1:15. So I just wanted to give you some updates. As I said before, we have these big Omnibus Bills coming through every day, so I'm trying to do some more updates to let you know. But one thing, I've heard people ask, and people are getting more and more concerned. And as I've talked to people, people look at me and, you can read their eyes, and they're looking at me and they say, what can we do to help you? And I just know that people are starting to see the level of crazy that we're reaching. They're concerned. I see it in their eyes, and people do want to help. So I wanted to start out by saying, a little bit about, sometimes in Minnesota, I don't know if you've heard the expression, but, it's like, we can be passive aggressive, or we're Minnesota nice. And so maybe we're Minnesota nice, and so we don't want to call people out, and we maybe just go along with things, and that's kind of who we've been. But I'm gonna tell you a few things right now, and this is how you can help me. Of course, I always want people to be nice and, be nice to each other, but there's a difference between being nice and being truthful. We have to be honest here in Minnesota with what's going on. I've also had some people say, well, I'm going to leave. And I say, no, stay and fight with us. And you know what? Here's the thing is, in history, when you do not address evil, when you do not address bad things, it's kind of like a cancer. It just keeps on spreading. And so you could be like, well, I'm leaving. But you know what? It could very well spread and find you to wherever you went. So it would be a lot easier if all of us would just stand up and call this what it is and say, no, we're not going to put up with this anymore. No, this is not what the majority of Minnesotans want. 80-90% of us do not agree with these extreme left-wing policies that are being pushed on us, pushed through. And I'm not even sure if most Minnesotans, know what's happening. And I think that is the bigger plan. I think they wanted to do this fast and furious and get this agenda through before the majority of Minnesotans really woke up to what's happening in this legislative session. So when we say Minnesota nice, I'm going to post in the comments. And today, in the Citizens Free Post, I think it's called, but it used to be like the Drudge Report. So I'll put the link. So it's just like a news thing, and it's national. So they're highlighting stories from all over the United States. Okay. Minnesota, on that post, we are something like 3 of the top dozen stories nationally. So I'm going to post that in the comments. One was yesterday, Tuesday, whatever day we're on, the pot bill, the marijuana pot bill got passed in the House. Now, it's not law yet, but it did get passed through the House, and that was a headline story nationally. Another one was a story about gays against groomers, totally against the Minnesota trans bill that just passed the Minnesota. Well, it passed the Minnesota House a couple weeks ago, and it just passed the Senate on Friday. So this trans bill is allowing, so like if there's a divorce type situation in another state, it literally says in the bill that Minnesota can be a sanctuary state for trans kids. And so say you can imagine there's all sorts of bad things, but a parent wants to transition a kid. Another parent does not want to transition the kid. And basically they kidnap the kid and they come to Minnesota, and Minnesota, our state, under this bill would protect that parent who took the kid from the other parent who did not want to transition them. And our state of Minnesota would protect the child. And it's just so wrong. But anyways, okay. And then the third story hitting national news is, now this was on the calendar for today, but we didn't get to it. So it'll be coming tomorrow. I don't remember the House file number. I should have looked it up. Sorry. I'll post this in the comments too. But basically, it is making pedophilia, it's it's changing the definition, or it's striking it from the language. It's making it like a sexual orientation, I believe. Sorry, I should have read that. I forgot to read that. But it's coming tomorrow. But it's making pedophilia like a sexual orientation. I believe that's correct. And then later in a bill, it's protecting sexual orientation. So basically, if you tie the two different statutes together, it would protect pedophilia. And this is making national news. So I'm going to ask you, Minnesota, is this Minnesota nice? Do you want to be making 3 out of the dozen headlines that's happening nationally? Are you waking up yet? Do you understand how extreme this legislative session is? Do you understand that Minnesota daily now is making the national news of how extreme we are becoming? So we have a choice. I mean, we have to wake up, we have to face it, we have to get involved, or this is just going to continue. So when people ask me, what can we do to help? What can we do to help? Well, I'm going to post those things in the comments. I'm going to post those things so that we just made like 3 out of the top 12 headline national news. Pot bill, legalizing pot, gays against groomers, our trans, it's called Kidnapping Trans Kids Bill. That's what we call it. And now we're going to make pedophilia a protected sexual orientation. Are you okay with that, Minnesota? I'm being quite serious. This is not, I'm going to post it in the comments. And if you're not okay with this, then it's time that you wake up. And it's time that you get involved. And it's time that you do something. And when you ask me, what can you do to help? Well, this is what you can do. Is you can share that with 5 people or 10 people and start asking them, is this what you want our state of Minnesota? Is this really what we want? Because I'm going to tell you, it's not. It's not. We have been hijacked by the far left extremists that do not represent most of Minnesotans. So this is not Minnesota nice. And guess what? You are not being Minnesota nice by being quiet and just letting this happen. So I'm going to post it in the comments, and I need you to start sharing this information, and I need you to be honest and ask people, is this what you want? Stop being Minnesota nice. Stop trying to be politically correct. This is about our kids now. This is literally about our kids, about them with the pedophilia, about them basically decriminalizing pedophilia, making it a protected sexual orientation. Hopefully I'm saying that right, but I'll post it in the comments. So that's what you can do. You can share. You can ask people, is this too far? Is this too much? And you can realize we can't run away from this, that we have to address evil, stare it in the eyes, and call your legislators and finally wake up your neighbors, your friends, your family, your churches. Wake up everybody and say that we care about Minnesota. We love this state. This is too far, too much. This is not Minnesota nice. This is not what we voted for. This is not what we want. And please start sharing this with other people. Okay, well, I'm going to go to bed. And what else? There's so many other things. Just a quick rundown. Also, today on the floor, we were talking about public safety bill. We didn't get it finished. Literally, in this public safety bill, and I'll post this in the comments too, you can watch it. You have to watch it to believe what's happening. But the Democrats are proposing that they are going to start a new database that would be for like, well, they called it like hate crimes, but it's like thought crimes. They basically said on the floor that, so if I said, I believe that I'll post it in the comments, but something like if I believe that COVID came from Wuhan, China, that could be discriminatory of me against, people of Asian or Chinese descent. And that could be like a hate crime. And they could report me to this database. I'm not making this up. What else did they say? Oh, if I was in public and I misgendered somebody, if I called someone that, whatever wants to be called a her, and I said him, that I could be reported to this database, that would be considered a hate crime. Okay, Minnesota, knock. Hello. They're making a database. I'm not joking. They're making a database that they're going to collect information that if you don't fall into their belief system, if you misgender someone, all of this could be considered hate crimes, and you're going to be reported to this database. You guys, I'm not making this up, okay? This was heard on the Minnesota floor tonight. This is the bill that was heard on the Minnesota floor. I'll post it in the comments. This is Orwellian. This is what they do in communist countries, is they track people. This is oppression. This is, as a child, I used to wonder, how did this happen in Nazi Germany? How in the world did all those people go along with what happened in Nazi Germany? I wondered that as a child. I am not wondering it anymore. I am watching it right here live in Minnesota. I am watching people think that us losing our freedom every day, the government being in control, and us just going, yes, that seems like a good idea. Yeah, please track me. Please judge everything that comes out of my mouth. And if it's not woke enough, and if it doesn't fit your narrative, then please submit my name to some sort of hate database thought crime that I might have thought differently than someone else. You guys, this is not a joke. Are you awake yet, Minnesota? Are you awake yet? So that's coming to the floor tomorrow, is the ending of our public safety bill. There's 2 gun laws that are coming tomorrow. It'll start probably around 1 p.m. tomorrow. You can watch them live. There's 2 gun laws that they're trying to sneak into this big omnibus bill. One is for universal background checks, and one is the red flag laws, but I don't want to go into all of it right now, but they're both bad. They're only going to hurt the lawful gun owners. That's literally what they're going to do. Criminals do not follow the laws, and they use you, and they use your emotions, and they use your feelings to make you think that, oh, in Minnesota, if we just pass these laws, then we're not going to have gun crimes. We're not going to have shootings. Well, that is a big load of crock. It's so untrue. They have these red flag laws in California. There's still shootings there. Okay. They have these laws in Chicago. There's still shootings there. So stop thinking with your feelings and look at the facts. Look at the facts. And you know what? Pretty sure our gun rights are a constitutional right. And I'm also pretty sure, look up history, people. If you don't look up history, you are going to relive it. And guess what? They come for your guns before they take all of your other freedoms and take away your rights. That's what happens. They take away your guns first. So wake up, Minnesota. Tomorrow on Thursday, like I said, we'll finish the public safety. We're going to have these 2 gun amendments. There's the public safety bill, and then last tomorrow coming to the House floor is there's a huge health bill, and in that one they are stripping away the born alive clause. So right now in Minnesota, if someone was having an abortion and the baby was born alive, there is a clause that they would need to give medical support and try to save that baby's life. They're repealing it so that you could just leave a baby to die. And there's many other grotesque, terrible things that are coming through in this health bill tomorrow. So here's what you can do. People ask me all the time, what can you do? Share. Okay, if it's too much to talk about guns and it's too much to talk about abortion, share what I'm going to post to the comments about the Citizens Free Post. Read the 3 articles that are hitting the national news in Minnesota. Read them. We are hitting national news for our trans bill, for us repealing the laws against pedophilia, and for passing marijuana, which, I mean, that's not as, terrible as the other ones. Okay, but ask people, are you proud that that Minnesota's making the national news day in and day out because of our extreme policy? Just ask people and start talking to people and asking them what we need to do to stop this. Because this is too much. This is crazy, and this is not what Minnesota wants. It is not what Minnesota wants. So yes, I do need your help. The Republicans do not have your votes. We cannot stop this, but you can. The public can, and that's what they dread the most, is the public waking up to what's happening here in Minnesota. So please help us. Call your legislator, email, get involved, come to the state capitol. Everything I'm talking about is peacefully protesting. But think about it. If 100 of you came, if 200 of you came, I guarantee you these things would be stripped out of bills, because they're trying to push this through before you're aware of what's happening. So yes, it's now or never. It's get involved. Wake up, Minnesota. No more Minnesota nice. Okay, please stop the political correctness. This is too serious, and this is about our kids. This is about our kids. So we have to step up to the base now. We have to step up to the plate, whatever the saying is. And we have to protect our kids. This is not okay. And someday we are going to be accountable. And you can say you did nothing, or you can say I got involved. So I'm asking you to get involved. I'm asking you to help. I'm asking you to pay attention. I'm going to post in the comments. Please look carefully. Take some time. This is too important to ignore this. Okay. Love you. I am home. God bless you. Have a good night. And remember, God wins in the end. So please, honestly, we are going to get through this, but not by you sticking your head in the sand, and no more of this Minnesota nice stuff. Let's get involved and help us push back against this radical agenda. Bye, everyone.